Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ranger Flight, and welcome everyone to episode 12 of Beatless. In this episode, it was kind of slow at the start, but that ending going towards next episode is, it's gonna be good. Finally, we get something, I guess good in the anime of the last recap that we had, which was stupid. But in this episode, today, I thought it was gonna be more of a flashback episode because just looking at the preview for it, we kind of show Rio and Arato, kind of when they were kids. It's kind of like when they first met. And we do get that, I think, the first 3 to 4 minutes. And then the rest is kind of like in the story. Like, I thought this episode was going to be all flashback. But we learn information of kind of how Rio and Arato met. Of kind of that HIE explosion that happened. We've seen that kind of in Arato's dreams. And that was with him with Rio as well. We've seen Rio actually rescue him when they were younger. And then they became friends, and that's how they know each other now. We don't really get a lot of information, though, of, like, kind of more of the background on that. It's kind of just Rio saving him, and it's like, hey, let's be friends, and then it cuts out there. I feel like there's more of a backstory to that. We just didn't get it yet. But in this episode as well is that we see kind of, I wouldn't really say a comedy side, but it's kind of, I guess a little bit funny of Arato having to pay all the expenses, kind of last episode of them literally destroying like planes at the airport, the rental car that they own to get there, an example like that, so they have to pay off 2 million yen for it. But in this episode, I like that we actually seen Arato's father, or Arato's sister's father as well. It's just kind of a weird environment if you look at it, just because they actually live by themselves. I thought like that was actually his dad's home as well, but he actually lives in his kind of own town that's run by HIE'S and has like his own apartment as well. So I guess Arato and his sister just live by themselves, which is interesting. But we do get a lot of background on his dad, and I feel like it's definitely cool to learn about their father, of why he's like never home, what does he actually do for a living, an example like that. So they go and meet him and talk and everything like that, and we get to know his character. We get to know his character, what he is. He works for HIE'S. He's the one that builds them and everything like that. And we get the kind of the big news here today as well, was the mayor for like their town was that HIE, that Coca exploded, but it's not really technically dead yet, even though that the HIE is destroyed. It's kind of a mother computer if you look at it. Like, it's literally a mother computer, that's what it is, and it runs the whole city. Like, it controls all the HIEs. There's no humans that actually live here. There's like a little bit some like Arto's father and the workers, an example like that, but kind of if you look at society, and when they're walking down the street, they're all HIEs. So the kind of reason for that is if they have humans in the society, it would kind of cost more, an example. So they try to keep it like not as a ghost town, but just kind of like calm and build with HIEs. And really with HIEs that we know in the system, they try to act like humans in this world, because knowing from we get background of humanity, that humanity used to be like slaves, an example like that. It's kind of better for humanity now for HIEs to help, even though that people are scared that HIEs, if we keep building more, they might even take over the world. Because like we get that from Mr. Watori and from a lot of people that we know from Beatless so far, that HIEs have already kind of destroyed humanity. They like outsmarted them, and we kind of see that with Mr. Watori's character, which we kind of agree with a little bit. Like, I kind of agree with his side, even though that he's kind of the villain in this series, or even in this episode that we see with him as well, talking with Arato, but that's at the end of it as well. And we see Rio's character as well come with Arato and learn about things, an example like that, which is kind of interesting because looking at Rio's character right now, he's kind of like Kengo and an option for me, because Kengo was a guy that hated HIEs. He didn't want to be, around them, or didn't even want them to live. And I kind of see that with Rio's character now. But, in the last episode, or I think it was 2 episodes ago, or even 3 because of that recap, we kind of see him, being that. Because at the start of the episode, we see, his little sister actually be in the hospital. She almost died to methody, which he doesn't really know yet. And Arato was the one that helped her. But having that conversation with Arato is, he's kind of like with the HIE side just because he really likes Lacia, and he's kind of like at that point of falling in love with her. But, he's saying at the Arato that HIE'S, like, who would you choose in the end? HIE'S are humans. It's kind of like at that point when he was talking with them while his sister was in the hospital. But kind of getting more into the episode, or more in depth, we just kind of see, you know, I guess HIE'S, you know, have their own society or the system. And you look at it right here, that is the future going to be like that? Because we don't see any humans around right here. This is a town full of HIE'S, and I kind of feel like that's going to be more in the future of Beatless that we're going to get, and that's kind of what Mr. you know, Watori's point is right here, that if we keep building HIE'S, they'll just take over society. And we kind of see that in this episode of literally this small town that, you know, Arato's father lives in, creating these HIE'S. Dark episode, or the dark point that we have in this episode here today, is that all these HIE'S are controlled by the mayor, or, you know, this big motherboard that's in, you know, the town. And we see them starting to, you know, kind of commit suicide, which was a really weird point in this episode. I don't know why HIE'S are kind of just falling off a building and just ending it right there. But we get more of a dark part of, we actually see in, I guess, the middle part of today's episode of Snowdrop actually, you know, kind of being at this power plant, controlling everything. So I think it's Snowdrop controlling these, because afterwards they turn into zombies, destroying other HIE'S, and then afterwards they become zombies again, destroying other ones, and kind of multiplying to become like this kind of zombie army, which we actually seen from Snowdrop's abilities. So I feel like Snowdrop is the one, you know, actually controlling these HIE'S, you know, kind of destroying the motherboard, and kind of, you know, her being the mayor, or I guess the top leader, or whatever you think about it. And we get Methody as well, which destroys the apartment that, you know, Arato's, you know, dad lives in, but, you know, his sister was sleeping in, and Lacia was in there as well. And Arato's sister gets taken by Methody, and then it cuts off the episode there, which, you know, it's still a dark point. And I said, you know, and like, I guess 2 reviews now with the airport episode, with Methody being, you know, the bad character in this. And we actually see a different side of Mr. Watori as well, just because, you know, what I said in my other thing was Methody's, you know, kind of like HIE, or for her to survive in this world, is to have multiple owners, and afterwards she can get rid of them like trash. But she hasn't done that to Mr. Watori yet. I feel like they're just working together, and just kind of for her to survive, she'll just pick other owners and dismantle them, because I feel like they're still at that connection. You know, we see Mr. Watori's character actually be a real villain, him talking to Arato in this episode. So I kind of want more background of that, of kind of what's going on. Is Methody's going to be her own character, or is she actually working with Mr. Watori to destroy other stuff? And that cuts off the episode. And for me, I kind of enjoyed it. Just like the first part of this episode was, it was kind of just really slow, but the end really just picked it up, which I kind of hate that about anime sometimes, which I kind of feel like I want to get an episode this small all the way through. But either way, it was a good one. You know, I really enjoyed it. It definitely covers over the recap again. Probably like 4 or 3 more episodes we'll get another recap, which is completely stupid. But I definitely want more information going to the next episode. You know, this whole, you know, time, I just kind of wanted like stuff like at the start of the episode of, you know, Rio's past. I'm going to learn more about that. I want to know what Mr. Watori, Methody, are they working with Snowdrop? What is their objective, which we're going to probably get throughout the anime. I just have to wait every single week. But either way, guys, I hope that you enjoyed it. I guess my review, or I guess my rating for today's episode, I'll probably have to put it, you know, at an, I'll go with the 7.5 out of 10 today. I don't feel like this episode should be higher. I feel like it was kind of at that meh pace, but, you know, we're definitely gonna get a lot of answers next episode. I'm ready for that. I cannot wait. But either way, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for checking out my review here today for Beatless. Hope you all have an incredible day. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week for another review. Much love, guys, and have a good one.